Hello, folks. Brendan Chapman with you. It's another TheoTRADE video for Monday, April 13th. And boy, what a rally today. It looks like last night, hearing about the no agreement or again, the ceasefires kind of eroding in Iran. We're going to take the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to blow up potentially any Iranian ships that go in there. A lot of rhetoric that ultimately led to some overnight selling activity. And if we look at ES, you can kind of see at the open yesterday, we'll just bring up a 5-day, 5-minute chart here and kind of zoom in, but you'll see that gap right in the open. We went from closing on Friday around 68.64 to opening up this morning at around 67.80. That was a decent overnight over the weekend sell-off, and it looked like things were poised to get a little bit ugly today. And it's hard to really kind of divine any sort of rationale for why the market's rallying today. If we look at oil, for example, forward/CL, oil prices are higher. We did fade from our highs at about 105. We're currently at 97. I guess that's a positive, but we're higher than we were on Friday. We've got a structure within oil that's pretty negative. In fact, if I bring a forward/CL in here and think so, we'll look at futures. If you start to look at the premium in here and you start to see, wow, the difference between that contract and that contract's pretty steep. Again, this is March 31st right there. Again, even a little bit more steep, but we're still seeing that forward premiums playing out. Oil prices, if you think we're going to go to 60 pretty anytime soon, you got to think again, this is beyond any sort of Persian Gulf issue. It's really priced in now, really the fact that, look, higher oil prices can remain with us for a while because there is a real shortage. And they're pricing that shortage in right here. If we go back to, for example, the purple line, this was March 6th, and notice the premium between that contract and that contract was a lot lower. So while we've come in a little bit, still we're pricing in a pretty significant shortage. The potential for oil prices to just knee jerk back to 65 again is probably not in the cards. And certainly JP Morgan's kind of warned that, hey, look, this is getting baked into the cake. And as we look at JP Morgan today, this is a stock that, for the most part, rallied off of our lows and broke above the most recent highs over the last few days on the back of what? Well, if we look at Goldman Sachs, Goldman Sachs announced earnings this morning. Stock gapped down in the open to about 876. We've rallied to 894, not making back all the losses. And yet, if we look at the earnings announcement itself, they beat estimates by a pretty big margin. So you'd think, oh, that's a positive result for Goldman Sachs. Wait, no, it wasn't today. And yet the broader, financial space like JP Morgan took that initial weakness off the open, did trade a little lower, and then just rallied as we're approaching the close in about 7 minutes. We're at 312.75, a new high, and the highest high we've seen since we were going back to, when was that? We'd have to go back to where? Probably about, since the 11th of February. So it's been a while since we've even touched this level intraday. So is this really saying that, hey, JP Morgan on its earnings announcement in the morning is suddenly going to be well off? Look at today's volume. It's not like today was really rallying on anything. Even the gap up post ceasefire agreement, the volume isn't necessarily that high as well. So while we saw a lot of call option buying kind of back here as we're kind of forming lows, we've somewhat ran our course. And today, yes, we're breaking out to an upside. But again, the earnings shedding up tomorrow for JP Morgan does create some level of concern. We look at Citigroup. Citigroup very similarly gapping up here, new high, in fact, new multi-year high in Citigroup, and just no volume behind it. Just nobody was willing to really sell off the open today. Really, market was basically saying we've got the bid, we're buying at the ask, we're buying a market, whatever. We just continued to drive the market higher, and even stocks like Mara, which I'm kind of grateful for, breaking $10 today for the first time in a while. In fact, in BlockHunter, we had a 10, 12, could have exited with a small gain, rolled that out to May 11, 13, seeing if we can get a bigger squeeze in store here. But again, not a lot of volume. And that's the biggest distinction right now is any movement you're seeing, the volume behind it is pretty abysmal. And we do have some event risk coming into JP Morgan tomorrow, and at a higher price does create more risk that whatever we're going to see tomorrow is probably priced in. Maybe we do get some selling from names like JP Morgan and Citigroup and other banks that are announcing here in the near future. So it's not all necessarily positive. But again, as we look today, let's just go to the BlockHunter Surveillance Console. I've got a 4-week mastermind starting this Friday. We're going to go for 4 consecutive weeks. We're going to talk about gamma squeezes, flips, blocks. We're going to talk about how to use the console to be able to identify stuff and translate it to trades. And if you notice, there's a couple of symbols in here for XLF. And so I'll type it in here. 2 that it had some significant block trades today. One's a 20,000 call option buy for May 1st, 52. The other's a 30,000 call buy in one trade for May 15, 52. So let's go back here. I mean, if we look at 52 strike for XLF, we're saying, hey, there is potential here for an upside gamma squeeze, and we did get it today, right? So right off the bat this morning, I was kind of talking about, hey, the 52 does create squeeze potential. We may squeeze into 52. Boy, we've about made it already, and those calls are playing out pretty nicely off of the trades earlier this morning. But what's in store here? The 52 strike ultimately was a roll. And so if we look at the May 15 52s, we'll just come down here and look at time and sales. But what you'll see is that at the same time, 11:43:28, you've got the 1 May rolled from the 17th, so actually rolled it out in time. And the $30 strike there came from a 15 May 50. So what they did was roll up. This was earlier in the day, rolled it up 3 times the contracts, ultimately walking with a pretty decent net debit, higher delta exposure in gamma potential as we go from a 36 to a 1 delta versus the currently where it was at a 62 delta. So more expansion on the delta, a lot of potential if that can break in the money. The other one was just moving it out in time to 52. So while they're big block trades, both of these are a function of rolling, but it does create a degree of significance around that 52 strike price. We're going to build a lot of interest there for based on today's trade. May 1st, we're going to see that 23,000 that got rolled from an earlier expiration to here. We're going to see that get translate over. So what this can do is, while it's not, these were being bought and they're being rolled. If we can bottle in here and we see the market decline and for XLF and we see a drop in volatility, this could cause the delta to really shrink at 52 as we move out of the money with the drop in vol. And suddenly we start to open it up because, boy, there is a pretty significant amount of downside put options, not necessarily for the May 1st, but you look at this week, a lot of put options mostly bought down there. We have fewer call options, but building to the upside there. You go out to the monthly, and this is stuff we'll get into. And during my 4-week mastermind, we're adding to the interest here at 52 for this month. But again, look at all that interest in there that was built recently. In fact, a lot of it was added right there before the gap on the news coming from the ceasefire. So understand what we have is something that could really create a substantial amount of movement. And the biggest bank that we're probably worried about at this point is JP Morgan. They've rallied into the close today, and they have earnings in the morning, and today's trade was on lighter volume. So at this point, earnings becomes the story as financials kick it off. But understand is that a beat does not, as we saw with Goldman Sachs, necessarily yield a positive move in the underlying stocks. So be prepared for some risky move tomorrow. We had an XLF kind of talked about closing out early because if you close out for a small gain, rather than taking the risk of JP Morgan's earnings announcement tomorrow, and this thing just ripped higher. So again, a lot of shaky. But if you're at a loss right now, you're just going to hold through, take on the risk. If you're at a loss, don't book it today. But if you could have closed for a small profit like you could have earlier today, you take it. But now you hold through earnings to say, look, it's a decent chance we make a decent downside move following the report, even if the news is positive from JP Morgan and or Citigroup. Well, folks, that's the video for today. We'll catch you back next week. Have a good one. Thank you.